Welcome back then folks to day 4 of Special Projects pack number 13, and for many of you, you will probably have been about 50-50 whether or not to even click on this video, because it's probably not the most enticing of cars, and it does look kind of fake, but this is, believe it or not, real. The Bimota edition of the Peugeot RCZ is in fact a real thing. Much to my chagrin though, they did not produce any of them. It was a one-off vehicle, which is such a shame because this thing is a beast. Not only is it referencing legitimately my favourite motorcycle manufacturer, which if the paint scheme of this car looks familiar, well it should, because for those of you who don't know, and channel OGs will probably remember me saying this years ago, Bimota is the reason why the channel is the colours that it is. The HSG logo is literally inspired by Bimota, the red, white and black. It's that level of important to me, how much I love this company. Bimota is a fantastic motorcycle brand, ultra rare, extremely expensive, and they often take Japanese or German engines and then kind of wrap their own styling around it, which is quite a cool idea. They're kind of like the Pagani of bikes, or the Koenigsegg of bikes, that kind of level of exclusive. In fact, you could say more so the Spiker of bikes, maybe. But this particular version was a proper weapon. It had the rear seat stripped out, 304 horsepower or so. It was a bit lighter. If I recall correctly, I think it had like a full Alcantara or suede interior. It had so much potential to be a beast. And for those who don't follow Beards and Cars, my real-world car review series, I reviewed the 160 horsepower version of the Peugeot RCZ in that series, and it was a great little car. It's fantastic through corners. I've always loved the styling of it a lot more, to be honest, than the Audi TT. It's got that double bubble kind of Zagato style roof. I really love the way the RCZ looks, and I do actually think, on a slight side note, it's kind of a shame that we don't have the RCZR in the game instead of this version, but hey, there you go. As far as the actual parts, the sports silencer is purchased, but you don't actually need that one because we've gone for the higher level one, so you can skip over that. As far as the brakes, we've got the upgraded pads, stage 1 weight. I've upgraded the tyres, if I recall correctly, I think from the Comfort Softs to the Sports Hards. That depends really how realistic or not realistic you want it to be, I guess, depending on what tyres you go for. We've got the sports brake discs, the power restrictor and the ballast, of course. For the semi-racing stuff, like I said, the semi-race silencer is the one that I'm using. We've got the fully customised computer, the racing crank. Obviously, the racing crank is way overkill for this, but we need to get the car up to the right amount of horsepower, and there's only so many things you can do to the car to get it there. So sometimes you have to allow for those kind of unrealistic changes, if you will. So we've got the high RPM turbo as well, sports intercooler, the fully customised diff, height adjustable sports suspension. As far as the racing stuff, the polished ports, balance tuning, the air filter and manifold, and then for down here there's nothing else in the racing section. Jumping into the extreme though, we've got the steering angle adapter. That's of course not accurate to real life, so you don't necessarily have to do it, but it does help with, of course, turn in. That's kind of the point. And as far as the ultimate section, there is nothing fitted there. Now, visually speaking, there are a few different players who have done a few different versions of this livery. This one, though, as far as I could tell, it definitely looked the most spot on to what I was looking for in terms of getting it accurate to real life. And if I recall correctly, it doesn't have too many likes. So show the player some love from me, certainly when it comes to a brand that I love, Bimota, for example. So, as far as the actual build goes, on the tuning side of things, you want your sports hards fitted, of course. For the suspension, 110mm on ride height. You cannot adjust the anti-roll. 35 and 45 for the dampers. 1.9 for the springs. 1 degree of camber on the front with half a degree on the back. You cannot adjust the toe with the height adjustable sports suspension, of course. For the diff, I've gone for 1010. Might not be to everyone's taste, but give it a go. This one, spoiler alert, is probably my favourite all-round result from this particular pack. And often you'll find, as some of you will have noticed, that my favourites that I've done out of each pack don't tend to be the obvious ones. One of my favourites that always comes to mind is the Mugen Civic. It's such a brilliant car, and I use it so much in career mode events and like the weekly challenges. Any kind of unlimited front-wheel drive based event, it just dominates. It's such a good car. This one, that time around, or this one, this time around even, is kind of that. It's nowhere near that quick, of course, but I really like this one. I love how it turned out. Now, as far as the ballast, you want 95 kilos. I will say, from what I can remember from when I researched the car, I couldn't find an exact weight, I don't think. That could be wrong, but I don't think I could find a weight on it. So I've kind of done an educated guess based on the fact that it has a semi-stripped out interior, the rear seats are removed, for example, certain other things like that, to give it a rough gauge of what it should or could weigh in comparison to the normal car. So you could change that around if you wanted to, but that seems fairly accurate to me. I've put that all the way to the back. It's still way biased to the front, but still, it's a bit of an improvement. As far as the downforce, I'm running none on the front and the minimum amount on the back, to basically line up with not having any on the front anyway. And over here you can see all of the other stuff, which is fitted. So 535 points on sports tyres. That's pretty modest for a car that weighs 1,310 kilos, which isn't really that much, with over 300 horsepower. I mean, that's Focus RS territory, so not bad at all. Now, though, of course, we need to jump out to the track to show you what it can do in practice. Now, in practice, my notes for this one were super simple. It has a little bit of understeer, which, let's be honest, 300 horsepower front-wheel drive car, how could it not have a little bit of understeer? Of course, it's possible, but most of them are kind of known for that, especially from this time period. It's superb to drive. It's just so much fun. This is a rewarding car. It punches well above its weight, in my opinion, in terms of how quick it can be. And I feel like the RCZ has just always been overshadowed by the Audi TT, in some ways for obvious reasons, like not having four-wheel drive. Obviously, Audi is more synonymous with performance, generally, let's say, than Peugeot is, although Peugeot has plenty of genuinely good performance icons thrown in there. With this one, I think it's a severely undervalued car anyway in the game, because it's actually quite good. And the Bimota one, although it doesn't make much sense, Italian manufacturer being teamed up with a French car, kind of a weird combo, but hey, I love that it exists, even as a one-off. So if you've got an RCZ burning a hole in your garage and you don't know what to do with it, maybe give this a go. So of course, if you do decide to use it, I hope you enjoy it, and naturally check out the couple of builds that are left in this particular pack, and obviously the ones which we've already done earlier in the week. But until next time, I'll see you then, and for now, thanks for watching.